Hi there, YouTubers. Today's video is going to go a little bit off the path that I normally follow. Normally, I'm a product review type guy, but I wanted to discuss something with you that I experienced this year. Something I've pretty much experienced my entire life, but just this year just kind of blew up on me. And what we're going to discuss is anxiety. And I want to tell you how anxiety pretty much destroyed the entire year of 2019 for me. I lost touch with people that I know and talk to on a regular basis. I stopped doing things around the house that I normally do. I stopped all my hobbies like playing guitar and making YouTube videos. There's a lot of things I just kind of gave up this year because I've been so stuck in my head and I haven't been able to find the proper strategy to get myself back out of that yet. I hope to do that by the end of the year. But let me sum up 2019 for you. It was a really long year. But I'm going to try to sum it up the best I can because obviously you don't want to sit here and watch me babble for a half hour or something. But back in February, it was late February, 20-something, it was a Saturday night, and I was laying down for bed. And I had an attack, and I've had panic attacks before, but I got back up out of bed, and I had all the classic signs of what could be a panic attack or could be a heart attack. I had problems breathing, my chest hurt real bad, real tense, and my fingers started going numb. I got real dizzy, and at one point, my head's up against the side of the wall, and I'm just kind of relaxing against the wall, thinking I'm about to die. I'm having an actual heart attack, and I was in a place in my life where I kind of just was basically told myself, hey, I'm either having a panic attack or I'm about to die of a heart attack. One or the other is going to happen. I'm not going to the hospital. So I never woke my girlfriend up to take me to the hospital. I suffered through that for almost 4 hours before I was finally able to go and fall asleep. I actually laid down during this attack, and it just took me that long to fall asleep because I just felt like something was really wrong. So it started with that. And a couple weeks after that, I developed a breathing problem where I always felt like I was short of breath, like my breathing was very labored. And it felt like something like almost like asthma. But it just wouldn't stop. I just be sitting there relaxing and I couldn't breathe. It could be doing something strenuous and get more out of breath than I normally would. So with that attack that I had, and then of course the breathing issue I developed, I decided it was time to see a doctor. So I started with a family physician, and then here come the referrals. I went to a cardiologist. I went to the cancer clinic to see a hematologist because it's the only place where there's a hematologist in this area. I went to a pulmonologist. But in all of this, so the cardiologist, he checks my heart because, my heart was one of my biggest concerns. Talking about heart-related illnesses and talking about stents and stuff, it just grosses me out. So I went to the cardiologist. I had a stress test. I had a echocardiogram. Everything's normal. So that's one thing I can check off my list. And then I go to the cancer clinic and I have my blood test done. I have a CT scan of my body because my sister has an issue where it's like factor 4. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a blood clotting disorder where you can clot a lot easier than a normal person. So they wanted to check me and make sure I didn't have any clots. And of course, a CT scan is very involved. It shows everything. It shows like your bones, your spine. It shows if there's any fluid in your lungs. So I have that test. My lungs are clear. They pointed out like I have like a hiatal hernia and a curvature of the spine and all that stuff. So I got to learn that. Woo-woo. But nothing wrong with my lungs. So heart is good. Lungs is good. So it took me from March until October 1st to get in to see a pulmonologist because we only have one in this area. And finally got to him. He did a breathing test on me. And when I finally got my results on Halloween, October 31st, I had a sleep apnea study done along that time too. Sleep apnea study turned out okay. And my lungs turned out, or my breathing was pretty much okay. He told me that I had high diffusion on my exhale, which signifies either low blood count or low red blood cell counts, internal bleeding, or asthma. And I don't have internal bleeding, and I don't have, I've had plenty of blood tests this year. I've had 3 complete blood counts, and then thyroid checked and all that. Turns out that everything's okay with my blood cell count. So he says, must be asthma. So before this diagnosis, I had gone to my family doctor and expressed my concerns to him, and then of course told him, my pulmonologist appointment is really far out. So he'd already started me on Symbicort and started me on a rescue inhaler, just to see if I could see some relief out of that before I finally got the chance to see the pulmonologist. Well, the Symbicort doesn't work, and when I had some of these attacks that were really bad, including a visit to the emergency room because I thought I was dying again, the emergency inhaler did not bail me out. So I do have mild asthma, is what the ruling is, but asthma treatments aren't helping. So, and both my sisters have asthma. I don't even think they're actively taking care of it right now because it doesn't affect them, on a regular everyday basis. It's just something that's there that you need to know. So you should always have a rescue inhaler in case. I'm taking allergy shots now because of my asthma diagnosis, but bottom line is asthma treatments aren't working. So this leads me to believe, after all these doctors have told me that everything is fine, and even with something discovered, everything, it's not working. The treatments aren't working, and I know there's other treatments out there, yada yada. But this led me to come down, relax for a minute, and think to myself, and realize that what I'm experiencing is textbook anxiety symptoms, and the attacks that I had that were really bad were textbook panic attacks. And like I said, I've always had anxiety anyway. I knew that. In fact, last year my anxiety flared up so bad and my stress levels got so out of whack that I broke out in shingles. And that, I'm going to make a video on that too because I took a bunch of pictures. But I had shingles from underneath my belly button in my pelvic region all the way around to my spine. It was all on the left-hand side. And that was pretty bad. It took me about a month and a couple of weeks, so a month and a half to finally get over the shingles. And it was almost 4 months before they completely disappeared off the side of my body. And I still have scars from it. So last year I realized that I'd hit a peak and I needed to calm down. And somehow I managed to do that for myself, I believe, because I didn't have any problems after that until February of this year. And basically what this has done, it's caused me to have obsessive thoughts about something that I think is wrong, that probably there's nothing even wrong. But I can't stop thinking about my breathing. My obsessive compulsive side that I didn't even know I had has kind of taken over, and I'm just constantly concerned about it, and so I'm always thinking about it. And what happens when you think about a normal body process, it starts to consume you, and you start to think that you have to manually take control of it. So it's not in your unconscious mind anymore. It's not something your body's just doing automatic. It's just, this is something that comes along with anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder if you have that, or So I need to find some way to fix this, and I know it's probably going to involve the help of a professional. But again, 2019, the entire year almost, I've just been stuck up here in my head, worried, concerned, scared because I don't know what's going on. And it's kind of eased off a little bit over the last couple of weeks now that I think I've pinpointed what the problem is, and I'm learning some techniques about like exposure and stuff, to accept the thoughts, pretend basically that they're going to be there forever, and it kind of desensitizes you from having those thoughts so much because you stop worrying about it. You take the power away from your obsessive fear that is kind of overblown. But I mean, until I really figured this out, 2019, like I said, I've done nothing. I've fallen out of touch with everything that I am. Things aren't getting done around the house, just basic things. It's a struggle to stop off at a store on the way home because I don't want to stop off at a store. I want to come home to my safe place. But unfortunately, my safe place is where I have the opportunity to sink deep into those thoughts again and start having problems all over again. So anxiety is a very real thing. And it can create physical symptoms for you. You can manifest, with the power of your mind, physical symptoms to the point where you can really think you're dying. And it's just your body and your mind reacting in the wrong way, just overreacting to some sort of a trigger. And you can just become so obsessed in the thoughts and be so afraid of it that you can potentially never come down from it until you realize what's going on. So, yeah, that's just Yeah, so this year for the most part has just sucked. It's just been absolutely miserable, and it's been the longest year of my life, and it's been the worst year of my life. So hopefully I'm going to find some techniques to pull out of this, and because I really want to get back to doing all the things that I've always wanted to do, you know, like play guitar, write music, make YouTube videos, do more product reviews. You know, it's finding the motivation and finding a way to get out of here, you know, and start living again and realizing all the things that are around me. So I'm definitely gonna be working on that. Guys, if you have anxiety and you somehow related to this video or understand what I've been going through, please comment down below, you know, because I definitely want to hear your story. I think people that have anxiety that share their stories can kind of help each other out of the, you know, the problems that they're having, because you realize, you can start to understand and realize that this is a problem that's kind of normal, and it is something that's just temporary, and it is something that you can overcome. And the help from other people in the community just, I'm sure, does, you know, wonders for people. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry about not having posted so many videos this year, especially having gone months since my last post. I really wanted to. I've had ideas. It just, getting myself to do it's just been a totally different thing, a totally different experience this year, and I hope to again overcome that and start putting good content out there for you guys. So that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. I hope that I can get back to where I was a couple of years ago and be the normal person that I want to be again. But yeah, I've gotten like 2,500 more subscribers since my last video, and so I do want to take this opportunity to appreciate the audience that comes onto this channel. Those of you that watch these videos, that like them, that share them, it's grabbed me more of an audience out there. You know, to not put out a video and still be continuing to pull in subscribers, that's definitely because of you guys. So thank you very much, and I'll do better from here on out, I promise. All right, thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.